Welcome back, Patriots. Well, this is take 2. While I was recording the last video, OBS just crashed. It has never crashed on me before. And I don't know why it would do that now. But I was covering some heavy topics that I don't know. I'm probably being monitored, dude. I wouldn't doubt it, but I haven't been censored. I've been censored on Facebook, but not Twitter, and I'm surprised my YouTube hasn't been shut down because of our favorite number 17, stuff. Because I'm gonna go over new drops, but that's gonna be on the second part of the video. There's more information on Hunter's laptop, and it has been revealed who the relative that were in those pictures, and I'll just let you see the video. But first, there's just a little small clip from X22 report that I'm gonna play. Yeah, let's get right into it. Whoop.
Look at it. This puts pressure on the FBI. And what better way to detect who is working under the rule of law and who is working for the deep state? Because once you see this evidence, once you see what's on the laptop, once you see all of this, you just can't say, we're not going to do anything. Well, that tells you right there and then, you're not doing your job. Trump can point these people out right off the bat. And he wants to see where this is going to go and who's going to do what. Now, the FBI has asked to interview the Biden family whistleblower, Tony, and the meeting with the Senate was postponed. And the FBI is asking for copies of his phones. Now, that's very interesting. And Giuliani, he unloaded on the FBI because they ignored the lewd and criminal photos on Hunter Biden's laptop. They didn't even want to look at it. They had it since, 2019? And they did nothing. That tells you a lot. Now, what's very interesting is during the War Room with Bannon, the podcast, something very interesting was said. Take a listen to this. This is coming from the Sharper Edge.
Some of the footage here on the hard drive. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being I can't get it out of my mind ever, 1 being snooze fest, about being horrific. 1 to 10 of the Hunter Biden footage. Where is it?
It's a 20. It's the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. This is the worst stuff. This is the worst. I mean, and I spent 15 years studying the Clintons. This is the worst, most despicable, disgusting, filthy, corrupt garbage I've ever seen in my entire life.
All right, so there you have that. And then we got this from, it's an interview, I'm just going to play it because I don't know. My video might get dinged just for playing this because, I don't know. We'll see.
So we've covered a lot of the allegations about what's going on Hunter's hard drive tonight. However, before we get back to that, there's an even more disturbing allegation about an underage girl. What can you tell us about that?
This is not just any underage girl. This is a family member, and there were several figures that we have seen on this hard drive who have questionable ages, but none of them could be verified as far as who they are, except this one, and that's Natalie Biden. She is the niece of Hunter Biden, and the pictures depict her in ways that are very questionable enough that we here at OAN submitted a request to the Newcastle County Police Department in Delaware, and we asked if they had received any notes of concern about the images that were found on these hard drives, on this laptop, concerning Natalie Biden, who was 14 years old at the time. I cannot go into too much detail as to what the pictures actually depict, but they're enough that we know for sure she was 14 years old at the time because there's date stamps on these pictures. And this is around the time that Hunter Biden was spending time around not only Natalie, but her mom, who he was carrying on a romantic affair with at the time. This is the wife of the dead brother, Beau. Very uncomfortable pictures, Kara. So we had, images of Natalie being horizontal. I'm trying to be as delicate as I can, but being horizontal with Hunter. You have pictures of Hunter without his shirt on in some of the scenes. We have records of FaceTime calls from Hunter to Natalie and Natalie to Hunter. So there's some very questionable things in there, enough that we sent in a request to the authorities to see if anybody raised alarms about these pictures once they had them in their hands. So you have also another record that's very interesting, Kara, and that was a text message between Hunter Biden and his father, Joe. In this text exchange, you see that Hunter is complaining to his father that the therapist or psychologist is concerned about Hunter's presence in Natalie's life. And once again, I'll keep it as PG as I can, but there was a concern about Hunter's sexualized presence in front of Natalie, who's 14 years old, and the question there was posed to Joe Biden, saying, "This is I'm complaining about this. This is horrible. Why are they saying? Why are we having to deal with this?" And I'm paraphrasing, but Joe breezes past this concern and does not seem very concerned about Natalie Biden at all. Natalie is his granddaughter, 14 years old, who is in the presence of his son, who has addiction problems, who has clearly been using drugs in a way that would endanger a child. And so lots of questions raised. Yes, there's an underage child involved, at least one that we can confirm, and that is Natalie Biden, the niece of Hunter and the granddaughter of Joe.
And it seems to be a pattern going on here with Hunter Biden, because the Senate released a report, a Senate panel released a report last month detailing some allegations that Hunter Biden was involved in prostitution, but even worse, perhaps human trafficking rings in Eastern Europe. It seems to be a pattern with Hunter.
Yeah, Kara. So, as you know, OAN has been speaking with the former Biden staffer, Tara Reid. She's accused Joe Biden of sexual assault back in 1993. And when you hear her accounting of the culture of Joe Biden's office, or the culture that Joe Biden helped cultivate in his working environment, especially when it came to women, you have a lot of questions about the Biden family and how they deal with women, right? So going back to your question about the prostitution ring and the human trafficking element, we cannot confirm for sure what the scenes that we saw entail, whether or not they were prostitutes or not, or they were trafficked. We cannot be for certain, but they're certainly lewd, they're naked, there are several figures involved in each of these scenes. So there's a lot to indicate that those reports were initially true, but at this point it's going to require a little more authority stepping in and telling us exactly, looking at the metadata and telling us exactly where these pictures were taken. But there's certainly a lot of imagery and videos to confirm that there were certainly a lot of sex and drugs involved, and they look European, but we cannot be certain at this moment.
So there's that. And then we got Rudy Giuliani.
But does nothing with it but cover it up. Law enforcement has covered all of this up. So here's what emerges in the end. You're the only ones who can save this country. I can't save this country. I've done everything I can. I've been called every name in the book and sued and threatened with you can't imagine what. It makes me proud of myself that I'm able to do it anyway, so I'm a strange bird, all right? My father brought me up that way, and the mafia didn't stop me, and the FARC didn't stop me, and Islamic terrorists didn't stop me, and this low-level trash isn't going to stop me, because that's what they are, who somehow got near the White House, but don't let them get the White House. American people have common sense and decency. You got to stop these people. You got to get out and vote. You vote. You vote them down. You get them out, and I promise you that I will expend as much effort to clean this up so we no longer have censorship, and so we get these crooked politicians out of Washington, Republican or Democrat. There's just a few of them. They go back to the Clinton era. It's not just Democrats. It's mostly Democrats, but it's not just Democrats. Let's get rid of them all. Let's really drain the swamp this time. Really drain it. Now that we know what it really is, I never thought it was this bad. I thank you.
And then we got this interesting article here. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner threatened to sue the Lincoln Project over Times Square billboards. Let's see if I can blow this up. New Yorkers are going to suffer, and that's their problem. 366 plus New Yorkers. Okay, I don't see anything. First daughter Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared Kushner have threatened to sue the Lincoln Project over the Times Square billboard ads that attack the two senior White House advisors. The anti-Donald Trump Republican group snapped back with a statement that plans to make its response a civics lesson on First Amendment rights as painful as possible. Yeah, so you ever know what the Lincoln Project is? Google it. Or actually, no, don't Google it. DuckDuckGo it. Or Bing it. That's better than... Anything's better than Google now, dude. Anything. And here's a new social media platform. It's called CloutHub. I guess it's like Twitter. I signed up. People are already posting good stuff. No one's being censored. You can talk about whatever you want. And I'm not a big fan of Parler. I'm more of a... I think Gab is a little bit better than Parler. But, you know, you guys can use whatever you want. But I'm on Parler, I'm on Gab, but I usually use Gab more than Parler. But I'm liking this one. Yeah, there you go. If you sign up, you can follow me there. Just Untitled 82. I'm your host, Untitled 82. Shoot, what did I do? Oh, I clicked on something. Okay. And let's get to the drops. We left off at 49.33, so we got 49.34 gives us a Fox News article. Hunter Biden business partner calls email genuine. Says Hunter sought dad's advice on deals.
Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. Smoking gun emails show that the Biden family sold the vice presidency for a very, very substantial amount of money, more money than anybody would believe.
A group of House Republicans following President Trump's lead urging Attorney General Barr to appoint a special counsel to investigate allegations against Hunter Biden.
Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert is one of them and joins us live. Congressman, thanks for being here. You are one of 11 calling for the special counsel. Can you tell us why?
Well, because this is serious. It appears that the FBI had the laptop of Hunter Biden. It appears that, well, I mean, you look at the messages. Unlike Pop, which is what they call Joe Biden, you're not going to have to give me half of what you make. That's what Hunter Biden wrote to his daughter. For heaven's sakes, when you look at the deals that are being talked about in the emails with China, you know, there is corruption on a level we haven't seen in, I don't know, the Clinton Foundation. That's one of the problems with not punishing corruption, is you don't get the deterrent effect, which is why you have the Bidens apparently just using the vice president's position, maybe back when he was senator, just for pure corruption. Pay me and we'll be nicer to your company, to your country. It is outrageous, and because we do have a level of corruption and have in the FBI, it is important that there be a special team, and Christopher Wray should have nothing to do with it.
Okay, but with your claims, excuse me, of alleged wrongdoing as the backdrop, what, if anything, comes of this between now and Election Day, just 13 days away?
Well, it's not going to get done before Election Day, and thank you very much to Mr. Durham, who didn't want to have a political effect, who, by doing nothing before the election, has had a powerful political effect. So nothing's going to get done in the next 13 days, but that's not the point. This is potential corruption on an unbelievable level, and it's got to be investigated, or it's just going to get worse and worse.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know you're going to be following it. Keep us updated on what happens. You know, as we mentioned, you are one of 11 calling for that special counsel. So certainly something we will continue to follow. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for staying after it. Thank you.
Of course.
Next time.
And then we got 49.35, another Fox News article. Harris, prominent Democrats listed as key contacts for Biden family business venture projects.
Earlier this week, we told you about how Hunter Biden's former business associate named Bevan Cooney, currently serving a prison term, turned over thousands of emails to journalists Peter Schweizer and Matthew Tiermont. But now Cooney is fearing for his life? Well, just days after making that email exchange public, federal agents moved Cooney from his cell in what they say was an order to protect him. Tiermont has been communicating with the family, who has other concerns tonight. We're happy to have Matthew Tiermont back with us tonight. Matthew, is this really about protecting Mr. Cooney's physical safety in prison?
Perhaps it is, but at the same time, he was in a work camp for white-collar criminals and was serving relatively short stays. These were not violent criminals, and he was eligible to be released in about a month from now, and then they take him out of this environment and move him, I found out today, to a higher security facility where he's now in solitary confinement, which is not a great place to be. There's not a lot of oversight when you're in that situation, so there's a lot of nervousness on his part and the family's part. And meanwhile, he was eligible again to be out in a month, and he took this massive risk to get me these emails and Peter Schweitzer so we could go through them and make them transparent. So I think there's a lot of nervousness, and it's a risky situation.
Well, putting him in solitary confinement makes zero sense. He's in a minimum security, work camp. Why do you? I mean, the cynic in me, or maybe I've been around Washington too long, or I think it's way too swampy over there at the Bureau of Prisons. But it seems like someone doesn't want him to talk, or doesn't want to communicate with you, or Schweizer, or anyone else who actually wants to get the truth out about what Hunter Biden was up to.
I think this guy is a walking, talking evidence dossier that has yet to be opened up and read and learned from. And I think that's very dangerous to a lot of people who work in the federal complex. And I'm hoping that, especially with what Fox reported tonight about a transnational money laundering investigation, Laura, this is what we talked about 48 hours ago, is transnational money laundering for a Russian oligarch. If there was an investigation that was recently taking place or maybe still active, I would think that somebody with subpoena power, whether that's the U.S. Attorney in Oregon or in D.C. or in the Baltimore field office of the FBI, would want to talk to Bevan Cooney, given the implications of what he has shown with his emails and what's on Hunter Biden's laptop. And his emails corroborate Hunter Biden's laptop. If there is doubt about the provenance or the veracity of Hunter Biden's emails, then they should be talking to Cooney and matching up the emails. They're on emails together, so there'll be a corroborative effect, and this is very important at the moment.
Yet they want to freeze out Cooney by putting him in solitary. As we learned tonight, that there was opened a money laundering investigation last year, and it was a criminal enterprise suspected, obviously, that was the evidence of it inside this laptop. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been subpoenaed, according to the source of the Fox News report. Matthew, we're going to have you back later this week as this thing unfolds, but I hope we get to talk to the family, and I hope he gets out of solitary confinement. This is outrageous.
And there you go. My crush, Laura Ingraham. Ah, she's so hot. Sorry, folks. So, key domestic contacts for Phase 1 target projects: Harris, D. California. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, DNY. Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat, Minnesota. Senate Dianne Feinstein, D. California. Senate Christian Gillibrand, D. New York. Governor Andrew Cuomo Fredo, D. New York. Mayor Bill de Blasio, Democrat, New York City. Former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, I don't know how to say that, among others. Pandora's Political Elite Box 17. Get an article. Oh, nope. Intelligence report. Project Time. This will definitely be pinned or I'll leave it in the description below. Gosh, I'm gonna have to read this as well. Gives us a meme. 45 out of the 50 U.S. governors did not force COVID-19 infected patients into nursing homes, but 5 of them did. Cuomo, Tom Wolf, Phil Murphy, Newsom, piece of shit, Gretchen Whitmer. That is nearly 40% of all COVID-19 deaths in the United States. That's not an accident. That is premeditated murder. Tonight at the debate, when they push death count versus POTUS, remember this simple fact. 1-7. $49.38. $49.38. Please fix the bread and tidy up the ship. 1-7. So I'm guessing the 8kun board is being DOS attacked pretty badly now that we're getting closer to the election. They don't want our favorite number to put out info. We get a Twitter status on 4939. Tony Bobulinski will announce that he will turn his electronic devices and records of business dealings with Hunter and Jim Biden over to the FBI. Boom! Boom! It's just getting worse and worse for the Bidens, dude. Bye bye Biden. We know, Biden. We know. And we know what your son has now done. Disgusting. This is not going away. Corruption at the highest levels of government. DOJ, FBI, MSDNC, political elite. Protection struggles during bright sunny days. 17. And then an anon just says, "Q, you magnificent bastard." Only the beginning, Padawan. They can no longer hide in the shadows. Big tech, big media. D. Party being exposed for all to see. 1-7. And I will end it with where was that video? I'll end it with this. With our duly elected president, a tweet. For years, Joe Biden fought to cut your Social Security and Medicare. A fact with Joe falsely denied last night. This video, Joe Biden's own words, in quotations, or not quotations, in I don't know what this is called, was created by Bernie Sanders earlier this year to expose Joe Biden's atrocious record and egregious lies. I'm sorry. I suck at reading.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time again talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans programs. Is that true or is that
no,
not
it's
true?
not true.
That is not true?
That is not true.
I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Everything was on the table. I did not support any of those cuts in Social Security or in veterans benefits.
Whoa. Everything was on the table. All right, you're right. You just said it, including, in your judgment, cuts to Social Security and veterans.
In order to get the kinds of changes we need on other things related.
Joe, then
but we did not cut it.
I know, because people like me helped stop that. All that I would say to the American people, go to YouTube. It's all over the place. Joe said it many, many times. And I'm surprised, you can defend that or change your mind on it, but you can't deny the reality.
Gosh. So there you go, folks. That is your daily news and drops. I was a day late. I was kind of busy yesterday. I didn't have time to drop it or do a video. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to vote on November 3rd. You know who to vote for. You know who to vote for. Come on. And to the next one, God bless you all. Where we go one, we go all. Bye.